Hello, everyone, and welcome to April 28th regular Town Council meeting for the town of Vegreville. I call this meeting to order at 6 o'clock. First thing we're going to do, I'm going to get a motion to adopt the agenda. Okay, Councillor Curtis makes the motion. Is there any additions or deletions from the agenda? Seeing none, all those in favor? Carried, thank you. Next, I'll get a motion to adopt the minutes of our last regular council meeting. Councillor Wawa makes that motion. Is there any errors or omissions within those minutes? Seeing none, all in favor? Carried. Okay, tonight's the night, the big night. Our delegation is Renee Sanko from Wild & Company, and we're going to go through our financial audit. We've been waiting for a year for this, Renee. So if you would step up and highlight some of the good points and
Well, I'll do my best.
thank you.
I don't know how this is going to work. All right, I have to also be able to read and stand here, so and see all of these things. So thank you so much for having Wild & Company be your auditors again this year. We are always pleased to work with your administration team. They're always excellent at their jobs, which makes our job much easier. So we appreciate that. So I'm just going to go through some of the high-level financial findings of our audit and just some of the things that we look at so everyone has a bit of an understanding of what we're doing in the audit for you. So this is just kind of a risk assessment summary, and I believe you all have a copy as well to follow along, but I'll just go through some of the highlights. So what we do as part of the audit is evaluate your financial statement areas and transactions of streams that are significant in determining our area of audit focus. The first one is our property taxes. The audit risk with property taxes is that they may be calculated or levied incorrectly, which result in incorrect property tax revenue. And the work that we do is we always verify your assessment to your third-party assessor, and we confirm that the assessment values are correct. Then we recalculate your mill rates and bylaws to ensure that what you are expecting to collect in property taxes are, in fact, what you do collect. In addition, we also look at your property tax receivable to make sure that they are collectible either with the property or you are following the property tax recovery rules. So overall, property taxes are fairly stated with no material misstatements found. The next big area of audit for us is in your expenses and your payroll. Of course, this is one of your most significant expenses for the town is your team. And payroll transactions, we have to ensure that they're recorded for actually employees that exist and that there's no misappropriation of any town funds. So part of our testing is we do a random sampling of all of your employees. We run them through the payroll sample with deductions and benefits and all of the things. And then we compare what we expect to your T4s to make sure all those people exist and received a T4. And overall, we found no concerns in the payroll as well, and everything was fairly stated. Next up is our tangible capital assets, and that is the assets of the town, and just ensuring that the assets are exist, that they are valued correctly, and that there is no concerns about what was expensed or capitalized. And our risk is to ensure that the costs are recorded correctly and the amortization is also recorded correctly. So we do vouch the assets, we determine that they actually exist, and then we do the recalculations. Overall, the tangible capital assets were fairly stated and no misstatements identified. Accounts receivable is another big area of risk, and that is mostly related to your trade receivables or your grant receivables that you would be collecting. So we review the aging receivable list to ensure that there's nothing that's significant or that isn't collected maybe after the end of the year. We make sure that all the receivables exist, that the grants are actually available from the grant providers. In addition, we also look at variances from last year to this year as well as to budget to ensure that no areas have been missed. Accounts receivable are fairly stated with no material misstatements. In addition to expenses is accounts payable. Those would be your trade liabilities across the end of the year, and we want to ensure that all of those payables do exist and that we verified those to the invoices and that there's no significant variances. The accounts payable, we also ensure that they are recorded properly and none are missed and they are in the correct period. So overall, again, we've reviewed those and accounts payable are fairly stated with no material misstatements. The other significant area, of course, is deferred revenue and grant revenue. That is, of course, one of your big revenue streams in addition to property taxes. So we do focus a lot of our time here in ensuring that the funding agreements are exactly what you've applied for and that the expenses have been utilized in the way that is correct. And we want to ensure that the grants are recorded in the correct period. So we are completing all the procedures related to that, and we want to make sure that the deferred revenue monies that you've collected but have not spent is also properly recorded. So we've also do a lot of verification with your grant providers to ensure that the grants that you have on the books that have been confirmed with your funders. So we know that they do exist. And grant revenues are fairly stated with no material errors identified. New this year, I guess an updated new version is the asset retirement obligation, and that is the retirement of the landfill, the lagoon, and your buildings that would have asbestos. So you had the engineer come out and do a study of what those total costs would be. So the third-party verification of the assessed value, and we looked at all of the assets, including those that I mentioned, and then he's established a value, and from that value, then we look at what the value was from the inception when the building was built or when the landfill first existed to where we are at today, 2024, that current liability, and then where that liability will go to when the asset would be retired, which for the landfill is 114 or 17, I can't remember the number, years out from today's value. And then every year, those values are reassessed for inflation and for your debenture to borrowing rate. And that is based on the public sector accounting standards guidelines set out by our Canadian Standards Board and as part of the requirement as part of the audit. So I know that was something that you had all discussed a little bit last week, so I just wanted to touch on that. And overall, of course, we do the recalculations to ensure those are fairly stated. In addition, kind of some areas that are a little bit grayer are the use of estimates, and some of those do require some judgment by your management team as well for amortization of your assets, the accretion allowance on the asset retirement obligation, the allowance for doubtful accounts, as well as estimated useful lives of your assets. So we do some variance analysis, and we do the recalculations to ensure that those are reasonable and fairly stated. So again, no concerns from our area there. And overall, our audit is based on a level of materiality. We certainly don't look at every dollar. So when we calculate the materiality for the audit, we take your total revenues, property taxes net of requisitions, add capital revenues and less reserves, and from there we calculate our materiality. And this year's metric was based on just over $19 million. So our 3% materiality is $565,000. So that's kind of our scope of what we're looking for. Anything over $565,000, we are always looking at every transaction, and then based on the area that we were looking at, we certainly would drop that down to ensure that we've got all of the numbers in your audit correctly verified. So as part of that, there are sometimes a few small errors that we note that are unadjusted because we don't consider them to be significant, and we need to disclose those to you who are our users of our financial statements. So we did find two small uncorrected errors in our financials this year related to vacation accrual and sick time accrual. The total value of that is under $40,000. So again, that's not something that we would ask management to do a journal entry for, but they're aware, and part of that adjustment was related to employees that were no longer with the town, but their I believe it was their sick accrual was still on the books. So that's being reversed in 2025. So overall, we certainly didn't have any financial indicators that would cause us to not give you a clean opinion. Everything was in great working order. The final part of our calculation is the debt limit to ensure what you're eligible to borrow and what your debt service capacity is. So we do recalculate those, and those are in your financial statements and in your municipal financial report that goes to municipal affairs. So your total debt limit for 2024 is just over, well, almost 29 million. Your current debt load is 9.4. Your debt service limit is 4.8 million, and current debt service right now is 980,000. So capacity for those new debentures that you're looking for in 2025 that will help fund our deficit that we had talked about that Megan had mentioned last week, related to the liability created by ARO. And that will certainly put you back in the positive on that accumulated deficit that we did see, as well as the grant revenue that you've collected subsequent to year end. I think that was 1.3 million. And some of the lot sales that you have coming up in 2025 that will replenish those reserves and the accumulated surplus for 2025. So overall, our financial statement is a snapshot on December 31st, 2024, and things from there move on. So that cutoff date was just that day, and things have changed significantly since then as well. Any questions that you have that I could answer? Sorry, that was long and boring, I'm sure.
No.
Try to make it as streamlined as possible.
No, and I would just like to explain just one piece. We met earlier today, and looking at the arrow was, we never really took into account, we always knew there had to be reserve for the landfill, but we were never thinking the lagoon system had to have that same priority too, that it had to be included in this. So if we look at our facilities and the debt, our obligation there is just around 900,000. So those, what we always knew before with the landfill and the lagoon, but we were never showing it in our financials like that. We have a reserve for the landfill, but it's just a lot easier when you start to think about this. And the real thing that really changed was the $900,000 for the facilities that we owned. And when we looked at the bottom line, and Renee explained it very well between her and Director Saskew, when we get the debenture, when we hit that interest rate that we want to be at, and the other things that'll come in, and we're still waiting well over another $1 million in grant funding that should be here, we'll be right back to where we were on our financial statement. So that's it.
Okay, thank you.
Well, we always appreciate the job you guys do over there for us.
Thank you.
And I think they even left some donuts here one day, your staff, so it was good.
Well, thank you so much, and we're very happy that we're almost at the end of April, so maybe I won't look like a crazy witch next time I come see you.
If you could pass along to your staff that did the audit, and a congratulations. I hear that she's taking some time off.
Yes, she had a little second baby girl at the beginning of April now. I can't even remember. I believe her name is Paige. Yeah, so she's pretty excited. We got to meet her last week. She's just a tiny little peanut, so.
Okay.
Hopefully she will be back with us for next year's audit, I'm praying.
Thank you very much, Brenda.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So we're going to go right to correspondence, and the first one is from the Vegreville Kinsman Golf Club. You could go ahead. Yep.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'm just going to flip to the right page. Oh my goodness. Apparently my financial package is longer than I expected it. I should have known better.
Dear Mayor Tim McPhee and members of council, I am writing on behalf of the Vegreville Kinsman Golf Club to formally request an in-kind donation from the town of Vegreville of up to $3,000 worth of equipment rental use per year at our community golf course. This donation would greatly benefit our club and enhance the overall golfing experience for our members. In the past, the Vegreville Kinsman Golf Club has sent correspondence requesting a similar donation, and we have always appreciated the support and cooperation of the town in providing us with essential equipment for our operations. This donation would allow us to maintain and improve our golf course. The donation ideas would be, but not limited to, water pumping on hole 8 as the dugout fills up in the spring, which causes hole 8 and other holes not to be able to drain. The town has previously assisted in pumping this out, grading other parking lot, if possible, in some gravel. In the past, the town has provided your brush mower for a few holes as well. We kindly ask for your consideration and approval of this request, as it would greatly contribute to the success and sustainability of the Vegreville Kinsman Golf Club. Your support is invaluable to us, and we are grateful for the ongoing partnership between our club and the town of Vegreville. Any help is, of course, appreciated. If you require additional information or have any questions regarding this request, please do not hesitate to contact me. We are more than willing to provide any necessary documentation or clarification. Thank you for your time and attention to this matter. We look forward to favorable response and continued collaboration with the town of Vegreville. Sincerely, the Vegreville Kinsman Golf Club Executive. Okay, so I'll take a motion to receive and file that first of all. Councillor Bullock makes the motion. And before we have any comments, Dale, sorry, Director Lefebvre, can you just inform the council where we've been at in the past with this?
Yeah, this has been a long-running request, and the town has honored it for many years. And it's more so for the equipment and labor that we would provide, and once in a while it'd be an exception if we're going to produce or give, like gravel, for example, something solid. It's more for equipment and labor rental.
Okay, does anybody have any questions regarding the letter? Go ahead, Councillor Barry.
Thank you, Worship. Do we do this for other clubs or groups in town to speak of when they may need a little bit of assistance in doing some things around their facilities?
I know we certainly do for Culture Days, Ag Society, the work in kind and other events. But those are usually events not, well, they are a nonprofit, the golf course, but, you know, from time to time, they, instead of renting equipment, or they ask the town to help out, so.
Yeah, so it's not an unusual request. Thank you.
Okay, go ahead, Councillor Bullock.
Well, I think any time that we can help a nonprofit, whether it be a golf course, any other nonprofit around town, in-kind donations, I think are a wise thing to do, just to help everyone keep sustainable and offer amenities for our population in this area to enjoy, rural and town.
So then you would probably amend your motion to receive and file and donate the request?
I will make that amendment, yes.
All those in favor? Carried. Thank you. Director Saskew.
Thank you, Worship. I am prepared this time. This one is from the Royal Canadian Legion, Vegreville Town Council. The Vegreville Legion will be commemorating the 80th anniversary of VE Day and the Battle of the Atlantic at the Cenotaph on Thursday, May 8th at 1300 hours, which is 1 p.m. After the brief ceremony, we will be returning to the branch for beverages and light snacks. We are requesting a representative or representatives to say a few words on behalf of the town. Please reply with the numbers of those attending by May 1st. Yours in comradeship, Terry Kuzik, President, RCL Branch number 39.
Okay. Take a motion to receive and file on this one. Councillor Lemko makes the motion. I sent this out to everybody, and we've had a few responses. Councillor Burry, you said you would be attending. Councillor Lemko will be attending, and Councillor, you said you would attend. Mm-hmm. So you could write back, and I will be attending as well. And I guess they would need a count for I think we usually go back to the Legion, but afterwards, but if you just say that yes, that we would be. Okay, all those in favor? Carried, thank you.
Thank you. I have one more here. It is from Kin Canada. Dear Vegreville Town Council, the Kinsmen and Connect Clubs of Vegreville are hosting a Jack and Jill golf tournament on Saturday, May 10th, 2025 at the Vegreville Kinsmen Golf Course. We currently have 68 registered for this event. This will be our second year hosting this tournament, and last year it proved to be a great success. This annual tournament was designed to assist well-deserved organizations within the Vegreville community that could benefit from our support. Each year, we carefully vote on who our proceeds will go to, and this year, all funds raised will be donated to the Cal's Breakfast Club of Vegreville, as well as Prairie Tales Animal Rescue Society. Two crucial organizations within our community that would benefit immensely with the much-needed funds that we are aiming to provide them in the donation after our event. Hosting this event in our community at the Vegreville Kinsmen Golf Course also provides much-needed revenue and support to another well-deserved local organization in our town. To aid in the cost of running our tournament, we're looking for sponsors and local support. We're looking for cash donations as prizes, monies to be donated towards the purchase of prizes, as well as silent auction items. The monetary donations will be put towards any of these areas listed below: raffle prizes, best dressed team prizes, and fun game prize sponsors. Your organization's name will be displayed and will be acknowledged at the event and our club's social media pages to recognize your generous support. In addition, we also still have spots for team registrations, so feel free to reach out to us if you would like to also enter a team in the tournament. We truly appreciate your consideration and potential support. In times like these, it is so important to support local, and we are thrilled to be able to do so. Yours truly, Jocelyn Moose and Courtney Horan, tournament co-chairs.
Okay, thank you very much. Take a motion to receive and file the letter. Councilor Curtis makes the motion. Any discussion? I don't know if we have anything that would be raffle prize or fun game prize. I don't know. What are your thoughts, you guys?
I don't know if I have thoughts on that. I, as a CALS board member, I'm unable to volunteer that day, unfortunately. I'll be out of town, so I can't help. So I'm hoping that perhaps if we're not able to provide volunteers, that we at least have something that we can provide as sponsorship of some kind or energy to support their efforts.
Well, I'm already donating my time.
There you go.
I'm driving a golf cart with my clubs on the back, so.
There you go.
Go ahead, Councilor
You know,
Ward.
and these ones are always so hard because obviously our answer is yes, we would like to do that, especially given exactly the kinds of things they're sponsoring. But I know it's hard that we can't individually sponsor events. We usually have to do it in the way of either sometimes they're asking for, you know, maybe pins or something, or we're volunteering time. But they're not really asking for time volunteers really on this one.
No.
And could you see anything we have, like, I'm not thinking pins or anything would be wanted, because it's not that kind, it's not like bringing someone in from outside, right?
Maybe we could put together some sort of a basket for a prize or something like that. I'm not sure. We have some town of Vegreville stuff, and so. Huh? Yeah, so maybe we'll just leave that up to your department, Jameson. You could have your staff maybe put a basket together. It would be one of the door prizes. Couple of swimming passes and one of those cool hats that you guys are all wearing now.
There you go.
Okay. Okay, all those in favor of the motion? Carried, thank you very much. Look at that. Director Saskew, you're still up.
Okay, I have a request for council decision for the Vegreville Tourism Advisory Board member reappointment.
Oh, I thought you'd do the monthly cash statement.
I thought we were, my cash statement's out of order. Will do the monthly cash statement. Yep. I'm just following my package here. I don't normally have it in paper. So the monthly cash statement, we started the month with $3,079,539. Receipts for the month were $1,378,000, and disbursements were $3,189,283. So it was a big month for us. We ended the month with a net cash balance of $1,268,740. So some of the large amounts for receipts this month were an investment redeemed. So that was money moved into our cash account for cash purposes. And disbursements for the month, we had several. So this included the RCMP retro pay from 2023. So that was over $200,000. We had debenture payments for $250,000, as well as school fund requisitions, which was also $400,000. So it was a big month for disbursements for us, unfortunately. And then as far as receipts, there wasn't anything very significant except for FCSS Q1 payment. And forgive me, I don't have that number off the top of my head. I forgot to look it up. But in the end, we had a net balance of $1.268 million at the end of the month. And that is my cash statement update.
Okay, thank you. I'll take a motion to accept the monthly cash statement update as presented. Councillor Barry makes the motion. Any questions? Okay, all those in favor? Carried. Thank you very much. Now, let's move on to the next one.
This me again. Okay, so I have here a request for council decision for the Vegreville Tourism Advisory Board member reappointment. And this is to reappoint 4 members to the VTAB board. This is proposed by Michelle Gladys. In reviewing the Vegreville Tourism Advisory Board bylaw, administration identified an oversight in member appointments. Several current VTAB members have continued to serve beyond their original appointment terms. In accordance with VTAB bylaw section 4.3A and 4.4C, Town Council shall appoint 7 members at large for a 2-year term up to a maximum of 2 consecutive terms. In order to ensure compliance with our bylaw, administration is recommending that Town Council retroactively appoint the following members to continue to serve on the VTAB board. Jocelyn Moyos, term expires July 1st, 2025, Pam Cole, Connie Steinwad, and Rachel Farr. With the retroactive reappointments of these 4 members, this leaves the board with 2 member at-large vacancies to reach full complement. The communication strategy is that this appointment will follow a level 1 public engagement process. All appointees of the Vegreville Tourism Advisory Board will be notified directly via correspondence. Recommendation is that Town Council approve the following appointments to the Vegreville Tourism Advisory Board. So Jocelyn Moyos, Pam Cole, Connie Steinwad, and Rachel Farr.
Okay, thank you very much. Take a motion for the recommendation. Councillor Berry makes the motion. Any comments? Go ahead, Councillor Curtis.
Thank you very much. It's good to see that we have people interested in staying on these boards. The tourism board helps come up with some of the fun activities we do in the summer and you know, pushing the limit. We have our world record happening this year too, and everybody's been very helpful with that. So I'm excited that we can reappoint these folks and hopefully look to fill the other 2 spots.
Okay, any other comments? All those in favor? Carried. Thank you. Okay, next up, National Volunteer Week.
I have next the VTAB member appointment.
Oh. Okay,
Is that okay? Okay.
you're running the show.
Apparently you and I are not on the same page tonight. So today I have here an appointment for the new member to the Vegreville Tourism Advisory Board. The proposal is to appoint Daniel Adair as a new member to the Vegreville Tourism Advisory Board. Vegreville VTAB Board Bylaw 03/2025 states that members must be appointed to the board by resolution of council. VTAB members have approved the application of Daniel Adair. The board recommends that council appoint Daniel for a 2-year term with the possibility of a 2-year extension. With this appointment, there is 1 member at large vacancy to reach a full complement. This appointment will follow a level 1 public engagement process. All appointees of the Vegreville Tourism Advisory Board will be notified directly via correspondence. And the recommendation is that Town Council appoint Daniel Adair for a 2-year term, effective April 8th, 2025, with the possibility of a 2-year extension.
Okay, thank you. I'll take a motion for the recommendation. Counselor Borwa makes the motion. Any comments? Well, I'd like to thank Daniel for putting his name forward. Danielle, sorry. I gotta start reading more. It's always nice when we see people step up, and there's still one vacancy there? Go ahead.
Yes, we're still searching for a youth volunteer to sit on the board. So if anyone knows of any youths in the community that would be interested in this opportunity, please reach out to Michelle at the town office.
Okay. All those in favor? Carried. Thank you.
Okay, now I have a National Volunteer Week 2025 Appreciation Barbecue. So this is a request for to prevent financial and volunteer support for the National Volunteer Week 2025 Appreciation Barbecue, proposed by Julie Gottslig, FCSS Manager. National Volunteer Week is April 27th to May 4th, 2025. This week is set aside each year to inspire, appreciate, and recruit volunteers. The theme is Volunteer Make Waves, Together We Create Ripples of Change. This theme celebrates the power of volunteerism. For the past couple of years, there has been a free volunteer appreciation lunch from 11 a.m. till 2 p.m. called Super Tuesday, and it's delivered in partnership with the Senior Citizens Sunshine Club of Vegreville. However, this event requires some of the very volunteers we're trying to appreciate. Attendance is approximately 100 people. Survey recommends for future events to hold the meal event in June after farm seeding has completed instead of at the traditional time at the end of April into May, or to hold the event after school and work to make it more accessible to the community. So the plans for 2025 include an appreciation event Wednesday, June 18th, 2025 at the Vegreville Centennial Library, the barbecue dinner. This year we want to further emphasize just how much all our volunteers are valued by having elected officials deliver a barbecue dinner, like the successful Family Day breakfast. Attendance, based on the successful events before the pandemic, we're planning for approximately 300 people. Music and entertainment is to be held during the barbecue, and we will access the Block Party activities kit and have various games and activities available. The other side is to inspire. So there will be a social media campaign where they will be showcasing a variety of volunteer work currently being done in the community through a social media campaign, and then a photo booth at the barbecue event. So the photo booth will be set up for people to take a picture of themselves attending the event while holding up signs saying how they volunteer. Item number 3 is recruit. And so a recruitment advertisement will be replaced in the newspaper, promoted on social media, and on a display board at the barbecue event. And item 4 is education and awareness. FCSS will be encouraging agencies and organizations to incorporate the theme into their existing activities and programming, as well as a proclamation. FCSS will submit a joint proclamation request to the town of Vegreville and County of Minburn. Financial, Vegreville and District FCSS has applied and received the National Volunteer Week Enhancement Funding Grant that is sponsored by the Government of Alberta and distributed by Volunteer Alberta. These funds of $1,200 will go towards paying for food and the volunteer recruitment advertisement in the newspaper. Requesting financial support with the cost of the event, as the grant funding is not enough to cover all costs. The FCSS department is requesting Town Council to provide funding to cover the following costs: meal and advertising for a total of $750, and then to waive the rental fees for the library facilities and the facility setup and takedown fees. This initiative will follow public engagement process level 2. A social media campaign will be conducted during the National Volunteer Week, and FCSS will submit ads in the news advertiser promoting volunteer opportunities and the upcoming barbecue. Recommendation is that Town Council approve the financial contribution up to $750 from council budget and waive the rental fees, setup, and takedown fees from the library facility in support of the National Volunteer Week 2025 Appreciation Barbecue, and further, that members of Town Council will volunteer to serve the meal on June 18th, 2025.
Thank you. Okay, take a motion for the recommendation. Councillor Bullock makes the motion. Any comments? Go ahead.
Yeah, I think this is a wise thing to do, invest in our volunteers in our community and rural community, as we want to keep people volunteering, and it's very important that we encourage them to do so. And I think this is a great way to round everybody up for National Volunteer Week. And I truly support this, and I just can't stress how important this is to recognize our volunteers and encourage them.
Go ahead, Councilor Curtis.
Thank you very much. Just a few more, a little bit more info on the event. The men's shed is going to come do the cooking. So when we are there, we're going to be serving and cleaning up. So make sure you bring your rubber gloves or something to clean up. But yeah, again, the men's shed is a nonprofit volunteer group who is going to be working there that day. So kudos to them for stepping up to cook. And again, another good interaction with us and the county councilors as well. So.
Go ahead, Councilor Warwick.
I'd just say that, like, I know in the past years, they've tried different things at different times. It's really hard to catch your volunteers. So while it might seem a little bit different to not be doing it during volunteer week, I like the out-of-the-box thinking, trying to find a time when more people can come in. It's hard when something's during the week, during the day to come in. And I actually kind of also like that it's hitting in June, right before a number of our festivals and activities are going on. So it's kind of a way to pre-thank them before asking them to volunteer again. So I like the idea.
Okay. All those in favor? Carried. Next up, we're going to move over to Director LaFave.
Thank you, Worship. This is a request for council decision. The topic is subdivision application 25 TOW 002, lot 27 to 33, block 65, plan 162-1368, and lot 3 to 9, block 66, plan 162-1368. The proposal is to review subdivision application 25 TOW 002 and approve the process to proceed. Background: on April 15th, 2025, Planning and Development created an application for a subdivision approval to subdivide 14 single-dwelling residential lots into 28 medium-density residential lots for proposed duplexes. Communication strategy is a level 2 to inform. Once approved to proceed with the process, the subdivision authority officer will, as per the Municipal Government Act, send notification of the subdivision application to the government departments, persons, and local authorities as required by the subdivision development regulation, adjacent landowners, and posts on the town's website and social media. Options are the recommendation is being made that town council approve the process to proceed.
Okay, thank you. Look for a motion. Councilor Barry makes the motion. Yeah. Okay, any comments? Councilor Lemko, this is right in your backyard.
Yes, thanks for that, Director LaFave. So now the process would be that once approved, if approved by council, that this application would go in to the appropriate department. And how long is the time process for that to take in effect?
The subdivision application, the process now is that it receives first reading, and then we go and advertise to the community and neighboring residential lots or residential areas, or even if there's not any residential, but here it is all residential. And then we'll go with that to the subdivision approval board, who makes the decision on subdivisions. So council only approves the process to proceed. The board itself is the one that makes the final decision.
Okay, and so in saying that, we don't have to go through another public hearing, as that's already been vetted on the first go-round?
That's right. After, there will be information from that we get through the 2-week advertising that will go to the board.
Okay, and when you talk here adjacent property landowners, who do we, so that the public knows when you talk about adjacent landowners?
Yeah, adjacent landowners is the land that is adjacent to or touching that land, but still if it's separated by a road or a river, that still counts as adjacent, even though there's a separation of a road allowance, or in this case a river, but there isn't a river, so.
Okay, thank you for that.
So I guess what we're asking here is there going to be notification of the subdivision, do those who are directly adjacent, or do we do it that's other residents that are close?
We, by the MGA, are to send it as, at a minimum, to adjacent property owners, but we can spread that out.
To two.
There's two adjacent property owners in this situation. The two units to the south are the only adjacent units, because everything else is separated by park, or at the moment, town-owned land that's having 7 houses built on it.
Okay. So what you're trying to say, Councillor Berry, is that we do everything according to the MGA.
We always have, so I don't see why we would change now.
I just thought I'd put it out there.
Yeah, no, and I appreciate that, but I'm saying that we follow the act, and we follow it very closely, and I don't see why we would make an exception to that. Under the circumstances, there are two adjacent properties that we could notify, and those are immediately to the south of the proposed housing here. They're the only ones that are only separated by a road.
Okay, thank you very much. And is there any other comments? So the 14 lots in Foxview Phase 2 become 28 lots. Okay. All those in favor? Carried. Thank you very much, Director Lefebvre.
Welcome.
Next up, Director Saskew.
Thank you, Worship. I have here a request for council decision to transfer carry forward operating reserves. The proposal is to approve transfers to the carry forward operating reserve for use in 2025. So this is from 2024 funds. Operating and capital funds have been set aside in the following reserves as part of the 2024 year-end process. These transfers from the operating funds to reserve funds were not budgeted and therefore require council approval. An expenditure of $487,047 will be recorded in the 2024 financial records to transfer unexpended funds for the departments listed below to the carry forward operating reserve for use in 2025. So there was $25,000 in administration, which was property tax exemptions that were unpaid. Community engagement and economic development for $92,500. That was the wayfinding project predominantly. Policing, $367.97. That is the savings that we've realized from the actual two budgeted expenditures in the year. And then $24.50, just one small item from development. So communication strategy is that senior management will be made aware of the reserve balances and carry forward transfers. This is not something that we would do a public engagement piece on, as it is just for our own reserves. And recommendation is that town council approve the transfer of $487.47 to the carry forward operating reserve for the departments listed in 2024 for use in the 2025 budget year.
Okay, thank you. Take a motion for the recommendation. Councilor Rudick makes the motion. Any discussion? Go ahead, Councilor Rudick.
Happy to see some of the carry forward into projects that will be happening in 2025 budget year. But I want to make specific note and appreciation to administration and to some sharp pencil work on behalf of mayor and council for making sure that we were not paying for policing that was not being delivered. So that is a significant amount to be returning into our coffers. Yes. And appreciate the really good relationship that we have with our local detachment to make sure that we're both offering and paying for service that we expect, which is stellar and a great cooperation, which is evident by the work that they just done recently as well. So that's a significant savings, and thank you to all those that have made that happen.
Okay, Councilor Werba.
Well, and just to follow to Councilor Rudick's comment there, I think it is worth noting because there's a lot of discussion about what happens or doesn't happen sometimes, within council. So I think we actually have to acknowledge the mayor in this situation because, for lack of a better phrase, he was like a dog with a bone to start getting this figured out. And it's something that a lot of communities have just accepted. The accepted numbers came to them and feel that there wasn't much more that can be done. It was unfair. It's not perfect yet, but I think we all appreciate, and then followed up, of course, with the work the admin did. But it's been a lot to try and get some proper numbers out. I think we're very grateful to our representative from the RCMP as well, who's, you know, wanted to make sure that we have the best representation. But it's important, like many things, that we advocate for ourselves. So I guess good job to everybody there.
Yeah, and again, like, you know, this being more, having more understanding of how it worked, and, you know, we gotta thank K-Division, they come out many times, and we're a little reluctant to see what we felt was not a good practice of their billing department, but we've got that straightened out now, and this balance carry forward is gonna help with what we're seeing right now with the 5-year plan, and plus the fact that we're saying that we're willing to add one more to the complement if they can find somebody. So this will basically, and we just paid off some money that was setting for their wage increase, and they're without a contract now, and they're negotiating, so we'll see that again, so. Anyway, it's a good job by everybody here, so. There's no more comments? All those in favor? Carried. Thank you.
Okay, I have another one here. This is a request for council decision for transfers from restricted operating and capital reserves to fund unrestricted surplus deficits. So as Renee Senko noted today, this is our snapshot picture at December 31st, 2024, and all of these transfers were already reflected in the statements presented today. So the proposal is to approve transfers from restricted operating and capital reserves to cover deficit in unrestricted surplus due to the retrospective adoption of the asset retirement obligation. In 2024, the town of Vegreville retrospectively adopted Section PS 3280 Asset Retirement Obligations in accordance with the public sector accounting standards. This standard requires the recognition, measurement, and disclosure of legal obligations associated with the retirement of tangible capital assets. As a result of the modified application, prior period financial statements have been restated to reflect these obligations. Specifically, as disclosed in Note 22 of the 2024 financial statements, the asset retirement obligation as at December 31st, 2023 was revised from the previously reported amount of $1.399156 to $7,219,316, representing a significant adjustment to the municipality's financial position. The financial implications of adopting Section PS 3280 were significant for the town of Vegreville. As detailed in Note 22, the restatement of the asset retirement obligation led to a $4,961,479 adjustment to the town's unrestricted surplus. This adjustment reflects the cumulative impact of recognizing previously unrecorded asset and retirement obligations, ensuring compliance with the new accounting standard, and providing a more accurate representation of the town's financial liabilities and net financial position. The impact of this adjustment resulted in a negative unrestricted surplus. Upon recommendation of the town's auditors, we are proposing the transfer of $595,744 from restricted operating reserves and $1,565,313 from restricted capital reserves to unrestricted surplus. So as you can see here, as previously reported, it would have been a $3.6 million deficit. And then the two transfers from operating and capital reserves of $595,744 and $1,565,313 results in the reported deficit of $1,455,874. Following these transfers, the ending deficit stands at $1,455,874. This deficit is expected to be fully funded once debentures are drawn for forced main, which have been incurred but not yet funded as at the 2024 year end, as well as other items that Ms. Cinco detailed tonight, including closing of lot sales on some of our other items, as well as receipt of grant funds. So the communication strategy is that senior management will be made aware of the reserve balances and carry forward transfers, And recommendation is that town council authorize the transfer of $595,744 from restricted operating reserves and $1,565,313 from restricted capital reserves to the unrestricted surplus.
Okay, thank you. Take a motion for the recommendation. Councillor Curtis makes the motion. Any discussion? Go ahead, Councillor Riddick, you can start.
Thank you very much for the explanation. I think the timing is significant, having the audit tonight as well. I think it's important for anybody that's watching to understand that local government, municipal government is the only order of government that is not allowed to run an actual true deficit. So this is paper money moving back and forth, or imaginary money, to be able to fund if we needed to replace all of the assets that are explained here. So right at the top of the meeting, there was a very good explanation that we've hardly used our borrowing limit and we've hardly accessed our debt servicing limit. So we're in very good financial position, and appreciate that some of this adjustment to restricted capital and operating reserves is strictly to be able to account for the replacement of some of our assets, and also because administration has been very careful to wait to pull any of our debenture until the interest rate is lower, as the province has promised that they will do. So I just want to make sure that people are aware that, again, this is not an actual deficit because we have to balance every single year, unlike other government.
Yeah, when we look at this asset retirement obligation thing, it really changed. It's not real money, but you need to fund it in the audit. So we're moving things around until we get the debentures done. And I mean, 100 years from now, we may have to fill in the lagoon.
I think it's full already.
Yeah, but these are things that, and the conversation with the auditor today, just going through what private business, or even if you want to, start a gravel pit, or if you you need to put this money has to be put aside to retire and put everything back the way it was. So, and again, I was very surprised at what the numbers actually show, that our facilities only represent about 900,000. I thought it was crazy, but we never ever thought about the retirement of the lagoon. And we sort of knew what the landfill was going to be, and then these are things that are way down the road, but still we have to, with the accounting, we have to account for it, so.
Those numbers are less by far though than what we.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Okay, all those in favor? Carrie, thank you.
Okay, I have one more for you guys. I'm almost gonna need like a 5-minute break here. There's been so many. I have a request for council decision for the audited financial statements. So the proposal is to approve the audited financial statements for the year ended December 31st, 2024. Wild & Company, Chartered Professional Accountants, presented their report to the audit on the town of Vegreville for the year ended December 31st, 2024, which included their audit report. The audit report, together with the financial statements, represent the audited financial statements, which are required to be approved by council. The communication strategy is the audited financial statements will be made available at the town office and will be posted on the town's website. I would say this is a level 1 communication strategy. I apologize for not including that in there, as this was my template from last year. Recommendation is that town council accept Wild & Company Chartered Professional Accountants report and approve the audited financial statements for the year ended December 31st, 2024.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take a motion. Councillor Lemko makes the motion. Any comments? Well, thank you and your staff and the auditor. I know that this is a little bit of change in the way we've been doing things, and there's been waiting to debenture money and juggling accounts and trying to figure out where we're at. It was a lot of work, but we certainly appreciate the fact that we are now have our audit will be something that the government cannot say anything about it. So, anybody else? Okay. All those in favor of the recommendation? Carried. That may be your last one on here. Oh, yes, you do, yeah. Who's doing the amended land use bylaw?
I will, Your Worship.
Okay.
It's a memo to, request for council decision, actually. It's regarding amending the land use bylaw 11/2019 for rezoning. The land use committee gathered on April 17th, 2025 to discuss the proposed rezoning within the town of Vegreville. The lot 23, block 37, plan 1320943 from institutional to medium density residential district. This applies for lots 23, 25, 26, and 27 of that block and plan that we've just read. Prior to the approval, the land use committee has a few suggestions to consider. To provide recommended parking spaces as calculated from the land use bylaw, the current bylaw, to avoid overflow into the Sunshine Club's parking lot. Another recommendation was fence is recommended on the south lots running west to east to avoid conflicts of encroachments onto town-owned land, and of course to determine garbage and recycling disposal. Upon review and discussion, the Land Use Committee recommends moving forward with the proposed rezoning process to create areas within the town that promote medium density and more affordable housing options for residents of Vegreville. Communication strategy is a level 4 to involve, consult, and collaborate. After a successful first reading, advertising will be set for 2 consecutive weeks online and in the local paper, and then a public hearing will be scheduled for May 26th of 2025, with the opportunity for second and third reading to be held on May 26th at the regular scheduled council meeting. So the options are to review bylaw 05/2025 and move forward the process, or to review and deny and provide reasons why. Would you like me to read the bylaw, Your Worship?
Yes, please.
Proposed bylaw number 05/2025 in the town of Vegreville. This bylaw of the town of Vegreville in the province of Alberta for the purpose of amending land use bylaw number 11/2019 pursuant to the authority of the Municipal Government Act. Whereas the Municipal Government Act, RSA 2000, Chapter M26 and amendments thereto, authorizes the council to pass bylaws for municipal purposes. Whereas the council of the town of Vegreville in the province of Alberta deem it advisable to amend land use bylaw number 11/2019 by rezoning the described land as shown in Schedule A of this bylaw attached. Now therefore the council of the town of Vegreville duly assembled enacts as follows. The bylaw number 11/2019 Schedule A land use district map be amended by changing the designated lands of lot 23, lot 25, Lot 26 and Lot 27 of Block 37, Plan 1320943 from institutional to medium density residential district. This bylaw shall come into force and effect upon the date and of the passing of the third and final reading.
Yeah, thank you. I'll take a motion for the first reading on this bylaw. Councilor Roy makes the motion. Okay, any discussion? Go ahead, Councilor Bullock.
I just want to say that I think this is a positive thing for our community that's happening, and I feel that this is probably going to pass with flying colors moving ahead.
Excellent. Okay, Councilor Riddick.
I think this is a welcome application, and happy to be able to see this come so quickly. Just in case anybody ever hears that council is not able to move things through quickly in terms of development and being able to work with our public as well as business. I think this is a great example of our administration working to facilitate the needs of the community as well as being able to answer the needs of a developer in a fair, open process that also makes sure that we have the public involved. And so there are some recommendations on here that have some consideration as the project moves forward. And really happy to see the members of public that are on that land use committee provide their feedback, and they were very interested and provide some suggestions to the developers. So again, this is following the process, but also being very responsive in a way that is going to be beneficial long-term. So excited to see where this goes.
Thank you. Councilor Barry.
Thank you, Your Worship. I also appreciate the aspect that we have developers, and this is a different developer than some of the other ones, that are willing to step forward and start getting us more affordable housing to try and take care of the workforce that we're anticipating with the developments that are going on in Prosperity Park and other areas of the town. So I think it's very encouraging to see that not only are we getting some light industry interested in coming and some commercial coming, that we're now also taking care of some of the residential needs that we're desperately requiring. Thank you.
So, Councillor Berry, what would be our obligation under the the Municipal Government Act here with this rezoning?
Again, the only ones that would be required to be notified, I believe, are the adjacent landowners, and it might be a little bit more involved on this one here to calculate out just who is adjacent by being separated only by a roadway or an alleyway, and I'll forgive the river because I don't think it exists. So there are maybe a few more that should maybe receive a personal notice on this one here.
Excellent. And this rezoning would not just help the new industry at the park. What it is really going to help is as these buildings go up, it's going to help this business retain their employees that they have here in town today. So, okay, so I'll take all those in favor. Carried. The first reading is done. The advertisement will start right away. Director Lefebvre?
That's correct.
Excellent. And if somebody wants to find out where this property is, they just got to get a hold of your department?
Yeah, and in the in the minutes and the attachments that they can see, it shows the Schedule A, which shows the location.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Next up, property tax bylaw.
Thank you. I have here bylaw number 06/2025 for the town of Vegreville. This bylaw in the province of Alberta to authorize the rates of taxation and tax penalties to be levied against assessable property within the town of Vegreville for the 2025 tax year. Whereas the town of Vegreville has prepared and adopted detailed estimates of the municipal revenue and expenditures as required at the council meeting held on November 25th, 2024. And whereas the estimated municipal revenues and transfers from all sources other than taxation is estimated at $10,272,505, and whereas the estimated municipal expenditures and transfers set out in the annual budget for the town of Vegreville for 2025 total $18,550,539, and the balance of $8,918,289 is to be raised by general municipal property taxation. And whereas the estimated amount required to repay principal debt to be raised by general municipal taxation is $526,036, and whereas the estimated amount required for current year capital expenditures to be raised by general municipal taxation is $641,642, and therefore the total amount to be raised by general municipal taxation is $10,085,967. The requisitions are Alberta School Foundation Fund, residential and non-residential totaling $1,835,064. Elk Islands Catholic School Regional Division number 41, residential and non-residential totaling $347,265. The MD of Minburn Foundation totaling $207,066, and designated industrial property of $2,016. Whereas the Council of the Town of Vegreville is required each year to levy on the assessed value of all property tax rates sufficient to meet the estimated expenditures and the requisitions, and whereas the Council is authorized to classify assessed property and to establish different rates of taxation in respect to each class of property subject to the Municipal Government Act, RSA 2000, CM 26, and whereas the assessed value of all property in the town of Vegreville is, as shown on the assessment roll for municipal purposes, is a total of $831,630,250. Whereas the assessed value of all property in the town of Vegreville, as shown on the assessment roll for the Alberta School Foundation Fund purposes, is $664,296,012. And the assessed value for in the town of Vegreville, as shown on the assessment for Elk Island Catholic Separate Division, number 41, is $111,424,308. Therefore, under authority of the Municipal Government Act, the Council of the Town of Vegreville in the Province of Alberta enacts as follows. The bylaw cited to be 2025 Property Tax and Tax Penalty Bylaw. The Chief Administrative Officer is hereby authorized to levy the following rates of taxation on the assessed value of all property as shown on the assessment roll of the Town of Vegreville. So in summation, municipal general tax rates, policing, school foundation, Elk Island, MD of Minburn, and designated industrial properties. I don't think you need me to read every number.
No, we're good. It's
Property taxes for the current year are due and payable no later than June 30th, 2025, and the following penalties are to be set. 15% penalty on all current taxes remaining unpaid after June 30th, 2025, and a 15% penalty on all taxes remaining unpaid after December 31st, 2025. This bylaw shall take effect on the date of the third and final reading.
okay. I will now take a motion for the first reading on this new bylaw. Councilor Curtis makes the motion. Any comments? Go ahead, Councilor Curtis.
Thank you very much. Director Saskew, maybe just a little bit of education or re-education for the tax payment plan.
The
the
tip
public?
installment plan? So absolutely. So we offer a monthly tax installment payment plan, which can be done on the 15th or the 30th of the month. And so what happens is you can sign up. So between now and June 30th, you can sign up for the current year. And what you have to do is pay for the current year portion of taxes. So as of right now, we don't have 2025 assessments available, like the amount that people are going to pay. So we look at prior year. So say your balance was $3,000, we divide that number by 12, and that is your monthly installment. And then that's the installment from January till June. So if you wanted to sign up today, you would take 300 times January, February, March, and April. You would pay $1,200 today and sign and pick for a payment in May and June of the $300 each. And then when we send out the assessments in May, we will revise your calculation as of July 1st, and whatever your current balance of taxes payable as of June 30th is, less what you've already paid, that number divided by the remaining 6 months. So it is a really good installment payment plan. Lots of times we have ratepayers come in on June 30th and say, well, you know what, I can only pay for half of my tax balance right now. Well, this is the great time. Sign up for TIP, and then we'll take monthly installments for the remainder of the year. So there is benefit to that. Like if you, looking at right now, if you don't have that $3,000 for June, well, you pay your $1,500 for June, you can sign up for TIP for the remainder of the year. So it is a nice way to even out your tax payments.
And that would negate the 15% penalty.
That is correct. So as long as you're signed up for TIP and do not have any NSF penalties, you are remaining on TIP and will not receive penalties for June, and then same thing with December. So if you are signed up for TIP and have a couple NSF amounts throughout the year, we do a recalculation in December, and if you're not able to pay up full taxes by the end of December, you are subject to a penalty at that point in time. But otherwise, all things unaltered, you are not subject to penalties if you pay your TIP on time.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Councilor Bullock.
Director Saska, could you, for the public watching, just explain how collecting the education tax, that we just collect it for the government and send it through? We're actually not taking it into the municipality.
That is correct. So every year we get in March a summary of expected payments from them, and we collect based on that expectation. So this year it was a total balance of 1.8 million plus 347,000. So just over $2 million that has to be collected on their behalf, and we remit those payments quarterly. So that was one of the quarterly payments that we remitted in March on our cash statement this last month.
So when we're on schedule for the assessment notices to go out in May?
May 8th is our scheduled mailing or email date, and from there, after 7 days, it's considered received, depending on with the mail. Hopefully there's no mail strike before then. And If there is a mail strike, I don't believe they're doing it before the 15th, but if there is a mail strike, we will have those conversations ahead of time. But hopefully we can have them mailed out prior to the strike and not have to worry about that.
So, on the average family home within the town of Vegreville, the price, the most increase that most people will see will probably be their school tax over to their property tax, the biggest increase.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Councilor Berry.
Is there an additional way that the tax notices go out in addition to just mailing?
You can sign up for email. Those are the two options. And so there is a processing time. So normally I recommend a week prior to sign up prior to mailing. So I would say that people have to be signed up, so to say, by the end of April if they want to change to email at this point in time. So in November with the mail strike, we ended up holding utility bills and had them ready for pickup. But I do believe we'll be getting these out prior to any, I believe the date is May 15th, correct? For postal strike, if possible, in May.
So those who are already signed up to email
Will
will
get emails.
receive it. Yeah, thank you.
So if it's 7 days, it's considered mailed.
Or they didn't, they got ordered back, right?
Okay. We have a motion for the first reading. All those in favor? Carried. I'd be looking for a motion for a second reading. Councilor Berry makes the motion. All those in favor? Carried. I will need a motion for unanimous consent. Councilor Rudick makes the motion. All those in favor? Carried. And I'll need a motion for the third and final reading. Councilor Warwell makes that motion. All those in favor? Carried. Thank you very much. That through. Now, what do we have? We have the municipal policing bylaw. Policing committee bylaw.
I'm really missing my teammate or my counterpart today, so I have another bylaw. So this is the Town of Vegreville bylaw 07-2025. So this is to establish a municipal policing committee. Whereas the Municipal Government Act RSA 2000 CM 26, as amended from time to time, authorizes council to pass bylaws for municipal purposes in relation to services provided or on behalf of the municipality. The Police Act RSA 2000 CP 17 and regulations as amended provide that a municipality which has entered into agreement with the federal government for the provision of police services through the Royal Canadian Mounted Police may by bylaw establish a policing committee. Whereas the Municipal Council of the Town of Vegreville deems it advisable to establish a municipal policing committee, and whereas the Municipal Council of the Town of Vegreville by bylaw shall prescribe the rules and regulations governing the proceedings and meetings of the committee. Therefore, Municipal Council of the Town of Vegreville in the province of Alberta enacts as follow the bylaw that may be cited as the Municipal Policing Committee bylaw. So the definitions are all listed here. Duties and functions. So the committee shall oversee the administration of the Municipal Police Service Agreement, represent the interest and concerns of the public and the council to the officer in charge, develop a yearly plan of priorities and strategies for municipal policing in consultation with the officer in charge, develop a yearly plan, develop a yearly plan of priorities and strategies for municipal policing in consultation with the officer in charge, develop a community safety plan in conjunction with the local police detachment and the chief elected official, including a plan for collaboration between the community and community agencies, and providing the community safety plan annually or on request of the minister. Assist in the delegation or the selection of the officer in charge, and report annually or on request to the minister on the implementation of and updates to programs and services to achieve priorities of the police service. Membership. The Municipal Policing Committee shall be comprised of 6 members appointed by council, 4 members of council, and 2 members of public at large. In accordance with Section 7 of the regulation, the minister may appoint up to 2 members to the MPC. The term of the officer of a member appointed to the Municipal Policing Committee shall be 3 years or a term of less than 3 years, but not less than 2. All members of the Municipal Policing Committee must pass an enhanced security check, and the appointment of a member to the Municipal Policing Committee may not be revoked by council except for cause. The appointment of a member of the If a person who is also a member of the council is appointed to the Municipal Policing Committee, That person's appointment to the MPC terminates on that person ceasing to be a member of council. The members of the Municipal Policing Committee shall, at their first meeting in each year, elect from their members a chair and one or more vice chairs. A member who is the chief elected official is not eligible to be selected as the chair or vice chair of the MPC. All members of the MPC shall take an oath of office as prescribed in the Act, and members of the MPC may be paid remuneration by the committee in accordance with the Act. And this bylaw will come into effect in full force and effect on the date of passing of the third and final reading.
Okay, thank you again, Director Sasker. So I'll take a motion for the first reading. Councillor Barry makes the motion. I know we've discussed this quite a bit. Is there any more that we need to discuss on this? Go ahead, Councillor Rudy.
Thank you for preparing this so quickly. I guess the two things that just stand out for me, we've talked about before, how we would target or elicit the right response from the public to ensure that we've got folks that are aptly suited and interested in being able to provide value to this committee. There might be many that are interested, but we've talked about roles and responsibilities in the following document, like the policy manual, but perhaps we would be advertising and have a skills matrix or a determination method to be able to decide who best to fill those seats, particularly because some of the appointees, as is explained in here and we've discussed previously, will be appointed from outside of our control by the province. So we just want to make sure that we've got good representatives that have a good handle on what's happening here.
I have been updated by Leslie, which has been very great because she has been working hand in hand with CAO Ling regarding this, and she's actually been working with Coaldale to create an ad and application that's going to be presented to the public. So maybe Leslie can maybe talk on that more, or yeah. So we are putting extra merit into advertising for this particular.
So you think we'll have some input on the two government appointees? No. But they all have to be vetted through the RCMP and stuff first, so
And a security check.
go ahead.
One other thing too, listening to question period today, Minister Ellis explicitly stated the interest of the government of Alberta to establish a police force, which I have not heard publicly stated before. This was in question period, so perhaps that was in the heat of the moment, but just we've moved very quickly to be able to respond to the province to set this up, and I guess we'll be ready depending on what happens, knowing that there is a lot at stake here. So there's a lot happening currently, so thank you to our staff for being able to respond so quickly so that town of Vegreville can aptly participate.
Well, the police force might come a little faster than what we think, depending on the outcome of tonight. Okay, all those in favor? Carried. I'll take a motion for the second reading. Council Lemko makes that motion. All those in favor? Carried. I'll need a motion for unanimous consent. Councilor Bullock makes that motion. All those in favor? Carried. And a motion for third and final reading, Councilor Worwa. All those in favor? Carried. Okay, we're halfway there. We got a bylaw. All we need to do now is find a room to have our committee meetings in. Okay, well, let's go with some council reports. We'll start with Councilor Bullock.
Thank you, Your Worship. Back on April 15th, we had an ad hoc transportation committee meeting discussing the grant for the study. So that's about where it's at right now. Sorry, no one was hearing me there. We had a discussion at the ad hoc transportation committee meeting regarding the grant to do the study about the transportation in our community. Back on the 22nd, we had our legislative committee meeting. Earlier today, we had our intermunicipal committee meeting. Then just before this meeting, we had our FCSS advisory board meeting. One of the things we talked about was the Vegreville crisis response we're talking about and trying to get groups together to have that discussion about where we're falling short in this province regarding mental health and where where some people are falling through the cracks, how they're being dealt with. Having a little difficulty getting parties together right now, so that's still a work in progress. So more to come on that. Hopefully we get some more movement on some of those responses, because we really need to have somewhere for these people to go to, and we're getting turned back to FCSS again. So it's downloading onto us again. So that's not very good for us. And I'll let Councillor Curtis touch on the rest of it today. I just brought the not so good news part of it. And tonight's town council meeting.
Thank you very much. Councillor Curtis.
Hit me right after. Thank you very much. For me, excuse me, April 22nd, we had our LEDS meeting. April 25th, Councillor Lemko and I did the food bank pickup at No Frills in Walmart. Lots of food. There's 50 turkeys. There was lots of food. It was good. I think they had missed a pickup. They had missed a pickup because of the Easter, so I think there was some more sitting waiting. So then tonight, the FCSS board meeting. Excuse me. One other thing I can touch on is I think we spoke last time about the FRN needing a new home. The daycare is taking, or not the daycare, sorry, the preschool is taking over the whole building, so FRN needs to move. I think they have a spot picked out. I don't know that it's signed, sealed, delivered yet, but I think they're very close to finding a good spot in town where they can have the FRN and potentially put some of the grant money they have from Alberta Crime Prevention to help some youth in the community. So that is a positive. As well, the grant funding they got for a community counselor, they have hired a new community counselor, and she's local, Bryn Weinkoff. So that is awesome to hear, and that's a position that needs to be filled up. So I know she started today, so congrats to her. And then tonight's council meeting.
Thank you very much. Yes, when I was leaving the building today, I seen Bryn coming out of the FCSS, and then she informed me that first day at work. So. Okay. Yeah. Councillor Rala.
All right, I had on April 16th, a library board meeting, and we've got a number of things kind of going on there right now, some subcommittees within the boards. So one of the ones that I'm going to be sitting on is to do with budget, so they had waited while I was gone. So we have an upcoming meeting on that next week. As well, they've looked at some changes to the operations under their new manager, some potential changes to the hours, and a little bit of a change to when and how he'll be attending. So that was a big part of the discussion, as well as some summer plans. And one other item I did bring up at the just slightly at our legislative meeting was just a concern that was brought from the library about how busy that road is when crossing, especially by the school on that corner. So I had brought that to Director Lefebvre, and we'll take back to them at the meeting on Wednesday to write kind of in as a formal request for the budget reconsideration, and I'll be able to take them some of that information too about what was there before, so that's greatly appreciated. I had the Land Use Committee meeting on the 17th and legislative on the 22nd. And then on April 23rd, I was at the 50th anniversary chamber planning event, and just a few little details. So this is specifically to the 50th anniversary versus the regular chamber meeting, and just some of the things to note on there. You know, if people are there's still some space available if somebody is wanting to be part of the entertainment crew. So they're looking at various options. So if there's somebody out there, contact Connie at the chamber. They're looking at being able to have during the day kind of a variety of different things, from some dancers, some singers, some music. So there's a lot of really great talent pool in our area, and if someone is interested, please reach out to her. They are working with the different farmers markets and still working towards being able to set up a pancake breakfast. And they had kind of an interesting opportunity from the advertiser to look at the prospect of doing a souvenir booklet, which was kind of looked like it would be a really nice thing. We saw some samples, and a few of the things that they are facing challenges with, of course, are things we face now, is that it's really hard to get service clubs to, their idea was to have each one take on a different little entity so that you weren't trying to run it, but it is hard during the summer. We know the groups kind of disperse a little bit, so that they're still working on some of that, as well as, unfortunately, to waiting to find out they were had worked on being able to have a Ukrainian display, and that was being brought in by the Ukrainian village. So they are going to reach out to them though and see if they are still going to want to send someone, but just respectfully with the fire and situation, they're going to give them just a little bit of time. But previous to that, there was talk about bringing out some displays, as well as maybe somebody coming out teaching like a little bit of an interpretive. So a lot of really good events going on there, and yeah, that's kind of what we have, and it'll be more to be announced because they're meeting pretty regularly right now. So, and other than that, tonight's council meeting.
Okay, thank you very much. Councilor Rudick.
Since we last met on the 15th, I had an ad hoc transportation committee, as Councillor Bullock alluded to. We had just determined to meet quarterly, but with the announcement of the Rural Transit Solutions Fund grant, reconvening seemed in order, and we'll come up with some answering the questions that were submitted in the grant application, as well as ensuring that we're prudent with how we move forward in that fact-finding. The 17th, Vegmin board meeting, and just again to remind everybody, this is the adult learning that is funding the operations and the classes that are offered through Vegmin. So that funding comes from advanced education and provides programming such as first aid, as well as they call it CAKE now, so it's the Canadian Assessment Equivalency course, which is the GED, as well as other types of courses. So again, I would encourage everybody to continue to read the emails that you receive from Vegmin to share with businesses and local residents in the area to be able to access additional learning. There have been some partnerships explored to be able to expand English as, I don't say English as a second language, English language learners to be able to access those opportunities in a different format, as well as other offerings such as the fraud prevention that was offered to seniors recently, and some partnerships like that to ensure that both public interest or personal interest as well as educational opportunities are provided. 17th was a land use committee meeting that resulted in tonight's bylaw, the first reading. And 22nd legislative committee meeting on the 23rd. Vegreville Transportation Services Society met, and just wanted to thank the community for their resounding support. The bingo apparently is a great fundraiser, fun evening, and a good result. Apparently ham bingos are the way to go. Ham and turkey bingos bring out the crowds, and it's a great way to be able to support the operations. And the new van, which I think people will have seen around town, is in operation, and we took and advertised the former van, and had some sealed tender bids that came in, and as a board went through those and made some decisions who would be purchasing the previous vehicle. So we have to de-decal. I didn't know that that was a thing, but we have to de-decal the previous van and make that ready for the person that has submitted the successful tender. And there is also the impending retirement of the long-term driver and a new driver that's going to be coming in. So there are a lot of things happening with VTSS right now. I'll just draw attention to everybody. If they are interested, the AGM will be held on May 22nd, and always looking for new board members for both Vegreville Transportation Services Society and Vegmin Learning Society. So those are two boards that I'm a part of, that we would look for some more volunteers who might be able to provide their brains, their talent, and their energy there. And there will also be an opportunity to be able to share the new van, the new deckling, which will include the town of Vegreville's contribution to the operations of the VTSS vehicle forthcoming. So you'll be able to see the van in person, meet the new driver, say thank you very much to the retiring driver, and all that good stuff. And big thank you to the community for their support through the bingo, as well as all other fundraising ventures. There's been a lot of significant support from the community over the years. April 24th, MD Minburn meeting. The 24th, I also taped the Talk of the Town, which sounded a little bit disjointed today between an in-person interview with Elk Island Public School Board trustee Randy Foots and me via the phone with the radio announcer, so it's a little bit of a back and forth. Technology is fun, but really glad to be able to have a conversation about some of the growth that the community has experienced, what Elk Island Public Schools is doing in terms of their project and their scoping, as well as some of the growth in the district and some of the realities that we experience as a council that has worked very hard to make sure that tax increases are as small as possible. And then the province implements their education tax on top of that, unfortunately. So the good news, it was really great to be able to go back and get Jameson Brown, our SEED manager, communications, economic development manager, to be able to use the data that you provided to all of us, talking about the significant growth that has happened in the community. And again, just to let folks know, outside of our community, it is a significant thing to have grown 4.98% in 2 years, from 22 to 24, bringing us over 6,100 residents for the first time ever is significant, but it has also other considerations. So that growth needs to be accommodated in our schools, and we look forward to continue to partner with Elk Island Public Schools, knowing that our scoping project that we did 2 years ago to be able to take the assets that we have currently and move forward require possible amalgamation of 2 older sites to continue forward. All that to say that we're hoping that the number of students increase and we continue to be a vibrant community that offers great opportunities. 28th Subdivision and Appeal Board training test today was the kickoff to some very exciting training next week for being able to be part of the tribunal training, which is so exciting. I can't wait till next week and tonight's council meeting.
Thank you very much. Councillor Lemko.
Thanks, Your Worship. April 15th, I attended the C1 Business Incentive photo at the new Synergy building. And April 16th, a Cultural Association meeting. It's a regular board of directors meeting as we narrow down the 2 months away to the Sanka Festival, July 4th, 5th, and 6th. 17th, I attended the Land Use Committee meeting, and we talked about that earlier in the meeting about what was going on there. 22nd, the Ledge meeting. 23rd, I also sit on the Cultural Association Building Committee meeting, and we met to discuss the application for the Community Facility Enhancement Grant, and we're hoping to submit in the September deadline as we get our numbers and that down. And that's like to bring the facility up to like it needs a lot of work. It's still from the 70s build, and so it needs a lot of work. So it'll be the phase 1, which is the office area and the meeting room and the kitchen and bathrooms. Phase 2 will move to the center, and then phase 3 will be the dance studio. The 24th, I attended the MD of Minburn Foundation meeting, and just our annual monthly meeting. We do, item of note, we do have a new member on our foundation board from the village of Innisfree. Deborah McMahon is now sitting on our board and replacing Jennifer Johnson. The 25th, I had the luxury of being with Councillor Curtis at the food bank pickup at No Frills in Walmart. Just kind of mixed up in the pickup timing. We had to go to Walmart first because there's a potato chip truck backed into No Frills, and took a long while for them to unload chips. They could have put some in my truck.
They were getting worried you weren't coming.
Yeah, they were worried. Yeah, we were there twice. And then today I attended the intermunicipal committee meeting with our neighbors, the county of Minburn representatives, to have some discussions on some of the agreements we have in place. And then tonight's council meeting, Worship, and that's my report.
There was nothing fishy in that one. Councillor Barry.
Thank you, Your Worship. It's kind of a light one for me. April 22nd was the ledge meeting. On the 23rd, our St. Joseph General Hospital Board skipped our own meeting and attended the ASCU Palliative Care Society presentation. The ladies that were all volunteers to that organization were there, and they provided a really good presentation as to just what they are about, their mission, their vision, and what they're accomplishing there in terms of palliative care and the rooms that they maintain and the services that they do. So it was really, really appreciated and very instructive. And I informed an individual that I would make this statement for her. Jenny Johnson is presenting 3 sessions for end-of-life planning. And each session will be slightly different. So actually it's really good probably for seniors like myself to attend some of these. They'll be on Tuesdays, May the 13th, May the 20th, and May the 27th, right after soup and sandwich at 1:30 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. or 3 o'clock p.m. Sorry, so 1:30 to 3 on the 13th, the 20th, and 27th, and I think it'll be very informative. She has taken some courses and etc. on this, and is prepared to have good discussions with seniors in particular. And I think that I know from my own family's experiences that when you do plan ahead of time, it makes it much easier on the family. So good courses to attend. On April 25th, our Attention Retraction Committee, a subcommittee of it, we met to draft changes to our mission and vision and went through our terms of reference and have drafted up a new one on that we'll be presenting to our full committee group on May the 13th, hoping that it'll be ratified. And then we'll probably be taking a look at the rebranding and getting out to some community engagement on it to try and show what the committee is all about, the focus that we're heading towards. And we also will be looking for some volunteers. It's always good to try and get more volunteers on some of these groups that we're trying to encourage and maintain healthcare workers in the town. And in tonight's regular council meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so on April the 15th, I attended the C1 signage, the check presentation at Synergy. On the 16th, National Volunteer Week proclamation, myself and the Reeve signed into proclamations. The 22nd, a ledge meeting. And then on the 22nd, we left for Medicine Hat for the Global Forum, their Eastern Trade Corridor, with 2 other RETAs, Alberta Hub, Braid, and PEP, the Palliser Economic Partnership. So we had 3 days down there, and it was very interesting. We had a lot of different speakers. MLA, Parliamentary Secretary for Economic Corridor, Shane Getson, was there, and of course he always speaks well, and his vision for what Alberta can be is just amazing. And there was a few other MLAs. Scott Sear from Bonnyville Coal Lake was there, and some local, Justin, can't remember his last name. Yeah, Justin Wright. And then we got some first-hand knowledge of what's going on in that part of the province down south, and this global forum is all about this eastern economic development. It used to be ports to plains and on Highway 36 all the way to Texas to Fort McMurray. And we heard from Minister R.J. Sigerson was there, and he gave his account of what's going on in the province right now, and was very, very open to questions, and I talked to him quite a bit about, you know, what it looks like value adding to local agricultural products and what his ministry would support, and we had a lot of talk about maybe Highway 41 being more of a corridor, north and south type of corridor, and then Minister Newdorf, he was there and talking about the energy and the energy grid, and I got to ask him about the distribution and when they're going to make it a little more fair, and he was very honest. He said that caucus supported it, and he took it to cabinet, and he couldn't get it through cabinet. So he said that he's going to try a different approach. I brought up the fact that maybe we just needed some more rural cabinet ministers, and he said that would have probably worked, yeah. Anyway, they were all good speakers, and then also there was the guy that works on a lot of trade missions for the government of Alberta, and he gives an update on how this tariff situation's been going and ongoing with the 10 people that we have on full-time on the ground in the United States in 3 different offices the government of Alberta has, and he told us some stories and how the province, how hard they've been working and not to have any tariffs come to the province of Alberta yet. So all in all, it was a very good few days. We got to learn everything about the electrical grid in the province and how it all works, what's being done. We had 2 presentations on nuclear power, small reactors and large scale, and where it's going and what the province thinks about it. Basically, the alternative energy that we're producing in a green way today is nowhere near the base load that we're going to be needing. We've seen right from the province, from the minister said what our daily usage is right now at peaks, and some of the ask, the request for data centers is over what we use every day in the province already. They're requesting to build more data centers here. So there was, I would say that every member of the government of Alberta brought something that was really, you know, just really good news, and they were very honest about all the difficulties it's going to be with the electrical grid and how much power we're producing in this province right now. The nuclear thing is down the road a little bit. I think it was 8 years. If you applied, you could maybe get an answer. But there is some municipalities are working hard at it right now, and all the energy providers are actually checking into what it can be and stuff. But I think the cheapest small one, a 200 meg, was around 5 billion. So, yeah, some of the large ones would be, you know, it's up in the 1,000, or, you know, like 800 billion. They showed one project in England right now. There's 53 cranes on site. It was over 10,000 people on that site, and it's a 9-year project to build it. Yeah. Anyway, it was well worth going, and just getting the opportunity to sit and talk to ministers about what's going on in Vegreville. I think at a couple of times, some other members of Alberta Hub were wondering, did we pay the presentations to have Vegreville's name brought up so many times? But it's a good problem to have. Yes. And then on Friday morning, James and myself met with Minister Wilson, MLA Jackie Armstrong-Homedick, MLA Andrew Bochenko and their staff, and we had Provectus, the company, with us, and we had a very productive meeting with them. So again, I want to thank our MLA, Jackie Homenick, for setting that all up, and then by that time it was ready for the 5-hour trip home. So quick wash of the truck and we're on the highway. On today's intermunicipal committee meeting, won't say too much about that right now. We need to get together as the committee and talk a few things through before we bring them back to council with what our thoughts are there. And tonight's town council meeting. So, is there any other business of council? Did I miss anything, Leslie, or two in the wrong, oh, not today. Two in the wrong order, but yeah. Okay, well, if that's the case, I would adjourn this meeting at 7:44.